Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Tura Winery. Coming up in today's newscast. The Jewish high holidays are fast approaching and Israel is grappling with ongoing terror around the clock. Meet the angels in orange, saving lives in seconds. An inside look at United Hatzalah's life-saving mission with volunteer Dr. Yaakov Seligman. And finally, archaeologists finding ancient ducks in Jerusalem, leaving a lot of unanswered questions. We're starting with the ongoing terror wave as one killed and multiple injured as truck rams checkpoint and stabbing occurs at light rail station in Jerusalem. This as the Jewish high holidays are fast approaching and tensions are soaring. This morning in the central city of Modi'in, one young Israeli was killed and another 5 Israelis were wounded in a truck ramming attack at a nearby checkpoint. The assailant fled the scene heading towards the Hashmonaim checkpoint, roughly 7 kilometers away. There, Israeli security forces managed to neutralize the terrorists through gunfire. The Magen David Adom ambulance service promptly responded to the scene, providing medical attention to the injured Israelis, all in their 20s. Their conditions varied, with one in critical, another in serious, and the third in good condition. The Defense Ministry relayed that security guards stationed at the Hashmonaim checkpoint were alerted by the Israeli Defense Forces about the attacker's vehicle moments after the initial incident. They took immediate action, firing at the truck upon its arrival. And in a separate attack at the Shiftei Israel light rail station in Jerusalem, a man was injured in a stabbing attack on Wednesday evening. The Israel police reported that a 25-year-old man was moderately wounded by a 14-year-old assailant identified as Khaled Samer al-Zanin from the Bet Hanania neighborhood. Swift action by a border police officer at the scene resulted in the terrorist being neutralized. Paramedics from Magen David Adom arrived to assist, transferring the victim to Shaare Tzedek Medical Center for further treatment. Hospital sources relayed that the victim was in stable condition and conscious upon arrival. Responding to the incident, Hamas Jerusalem spokesperson hailed the attack as heroic, claiming it was a response to perceived injustices and a victory for their cause. The spokesperson cited other recent incidents as examples of ongoing resistance against Israelis. 4 IDF soldiers were wounded last night while securing the route for Jewish pilgrims heading to Joseph's tomb. Around 1,500 individuals proceeded with their visit, underlining the commitment to strengthen security forces and ensure unhindered access. An explosive device was detonated late Wednesday night against an IDF unit in Nablus. The forces were present in Nablus to provide security for Jewish pilgrims en route to Joseph's tomb. The attack left an IDF officer and 3 soldiers injured, with one in moderate condition and the others in light condition. After treatment at the Rabin Medical Center, 2 of the soldiers were released shortly after. The IDF's team mission was to create a secure pathway for the worshippers by entering Nablus ahead of them. While details are still unclear, it's uncertain whether the explosive device was thrown or remotely activated. Notably, the explosion site was not along the designated route for the worshippers' passage. Armed clashes were reported in the area as well, with video reportedly from the scene showing additional explosive devices being thrown towards Israeli forces. The Palestinian Islamic Jihad's Al-Quds brigades and Hamas Al-Qassam brigades claimed responsibility for the attack. And despite the attack, around 1,500 people in 30 buses proceeded with their visit to Joseph's tomb, underscoring the determination to maintain access to the site. Local authorities expressed commitment to strengthen security forces and criticized any attempts to hinder access to the tomb. Video footage displayed a cloud of smoke following the explosion, and despite the attack, the visit to Joseph's tomb continued as scheduled. Calls for the government to exert full control over the tomb were also voiced. Wishing the soldiers a speedy recovery. And moving on to a very speedy organization, the Angels in Orange, who are known to be devoted to the mission of life-saving using remarkably short response times. They are the volunteers of United Hatzalah, and joining me now in the studio is United Hatzalah volunteer Dr. Yaakov Seligman. Yaakov, it's a real honor to have you here with the vest, with the whole uniform.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, Yaakov, we know that most volunteers in United Hatzalah are really EMTs, right? I mean, you're a licensed doctor. That's different. That's a different training. What's actually the difference on the field when treating a patient, when looking at these two, at the difference, actually?
So the EMTs, we have a lot more EMTs, thank God. They get there very, very quickly. They're able to deliver oxygen. They're able to put pressure bandages on. They're able to start stopping bleeding, take vital signs. But as a doctor, as a surgeon, actually as a physician, I can do many more things. I can give medications. I can do procedures. I can intubate. We can put in chest tubes. There's a lot of things that we can do pre-hospital to support the patient being treated, to keep them alive until we can get them into the hospital, into the shock trauma room, or straight to the operating room sometimes.
That's incredible. Now, Yaakov, what inspired you to be a United Hatzalah doctor, really a volunteer, and doing it for, I assume, how many years?
I've actually been with Ellie since the beginning, since 2006.
Since the very beginning.
Yeah.
So how did you actually get to it? I mean, how did you start? I mean, how did you get to really volunteer at United Hatzalah?
So I made Aliyah after high school. I was a Chayal Boded, and during that time I was in Hesder Yeshiva, and me and another fellow Hesder Yeshiva student, we organized a course for MADA. We had 13 of our fellow students in the yeshiva. We all took the course together and we volunteered for MADA in Yerushalayim. And then when I heard what Eli was doing, I got in touch with Eli Bier, the amazing work that he was doing, starting Yichud Hatzalah to unite all the different Hatzalahs, to get everyone to work together and decrease the response times nationwide and now worldwide, where we have branches all over the world. And I thought what he was doing was amazing. And so I started helping him raise some money to buy oxygen tanks and then defibrillators, and working with him. And then actually I went back a couple times to America. At the time we had very low technology. I went back with a picture album of pictures of Piguim.
How many years are you talking about? I mean,
we're talking about 2005, 2006. 2005, 2006, when Eli was first starting Hatzalah. And I went back literally with a picture album to raise money to help get it started and to get equipment so that we could save lives faster.
Incredible. Now, tell me some more about the crazy response times. I mean, you have fastest, or I mean, angels in orange, as you guys are called. Take me to behind the scenes. How are you guys so fast? I mean, how does it actually happen?
So it all starts from the moked that we have in Yerushalayim. We get the information from there, and they send it out to our specialized devices, now called Rogers. We have radios, and they're also GPS-based, so they can send it out on the radio wave, and as well we also get GPS-based notifications on the device, and it knows, so the computer knows where we are at all times, and as soon as there's a call, it approximates our location and it sends out the closest volunteers. So the idea is that we have regular people, volunteers, everything from doctors like myself to lawyers, accountants, shop clerks, everything and anyone and everything. And at a moment's notice, they can get a call, drop everything that they're doing, grab their equipment if it's not in their car or their ambucycle. We also have the ambucycles that help us get through traffic very, very quickly. And we hop in our cars and go wherever we're needed immediately.
Israeli traffic, it's really hard.
It's very hard.
I assume in Israel, one of the most difficult countries. Yaakov, so please walk us through the differences. I mean, working in the field, treating in the field, rather than actually working in a clinic. I assume limited resources. How does it work?
So we have limited resources. I'm not able to depend on other doctors, nurses. I'm not able to depend on the entire system. That blanket, that umbrella that I know is always there to cover us and help us. We're kind of by ourselves in the field, and with our limited resources, with whatever medications or oxygen or bandages that I brought, that's what I have. And we have to make do. And we also have to think a little bit differently clinically, because if there's a patient that needs something in the hospital, maybe I have 10 minutes to get the CT or to get the imaging to decide what I want to do. In the field, I don't have that. I have to decide how fast I'm getting them to which hospital is the best hospital for them based on the estimated diagnosis that I'm making in the field with the information that I have.
Which makes it much, much harder.
Much harder.
So Yaakov, really, I assume you're hearing it every day, and maybe a few times a day. You're doing sacred work, you and the angels in United Hatzalah. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really appreciate it.
It's an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Now, as September 1st approaches, the education sector is still in its long crisis as Israeli teachers grapple with a contentious pay issue threatening the start of the school year. And ILTV's William Sharon has more.
We are on the 1st of September. It's a great day. We are opening again our education system. Huge expectations, a lot of work. I wish all the kids a very good learning year, and all the schools and all the teachers, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much for all you're doing.
September 1st is just around the corner, and the education sector is facing a growing crisis due to contentious pay issues. Teachers in Israel are grappling with what they perceive as unfair wages. The tensions escalated on Wednesday when the Ministry of Education presented a 6-year proposal to the teachers' union, outlining a gradual salary increase of 2,000 shekels per year. However, the offer as of now has still not been accepted. The situation has taken an alarming turn as teachers have issued a strike ultimatum, potentially delaying the school year's start until their wage concerns are addressed. Meanwhile, the Finance Ministry has tried to cap the raise at 1,000 shekels per teacher. This move has sparked outrage, with Teachers Union Chairman Ron Erez accusing Smotrich of attempting to weaken the organization and undermine the education system through privatization and individual contracts. Amidst the negotiations, the Treasury proposed extending teachers' work hours to 25 per week, while trimming 2 hours of individual instruction time. The repercussions of this crisis are vast. The shortage of teachers have reached concerning levels, coinciding with Israeli students' performance deepening below international averages according to the OECD. Adding to the complexity, an alarming 75% of Hebrew language teachers lack formal training, leading to a decline in reading skills. As it still remains unclear whether the school year will open its gates tomorrow morning, we are wishing all students a happy and successful new school year.
Iranian weightlifter Mustafa Rajai faces a lifetime ban from sports after a simple handshake with Israeli counterpart Maxim Zversky at the World Master Championship in Poland. This is most definitely not the first time, as a series of similar controversies involving Iranian athletes and bans occurred a few times in the past. Iranian weightlifter Mustafa Rajai has been handed a lifetime ban from participating in any sports events by Iran's weightlifting federation. The ban was imposed after Rajai extended a handshake to his Israeli counterpart Maxim Zversky at the World Master Championship held in Poland. The incident has ignited a heated debate on the intersection of sports and politics. The Weightlifting Federation expressed strong condemnation for Rajai's actions, asserting that they run counter to the values of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The federation further disbanded a committee for veteran weightlifters and dismissed Hamid Salehinia, who led the Iranian delegation to the competition. They indicated that comprehensive actions will be taken against those deemed responsible after thorough investigations. Rajai and Sversky's handshake, caught on camera and shared by Iranian media, has sparked outrage. Sversky expressed his surprise at the severe consequences of a simple gesture of sportsmanship. He remarked that he saw the interaction as normal and respectful. The ban on Rajai isn't an isolated incident. It echoes a series of similar controversies where Iranian athletes were prevented from competing against Israelis. The friction even led to international judo competitions imposing a 4-year ban on Iran. The popular video game Minecraft, originally released in 2011 as an Xbox game, is now being used for entrepreneurship and resource development, teaching in one of Israel's top universities. And ILTV's Devo Klein has more.
The popular video game Minecraft, which took the world by storm in its release in 2011, features a world-building concept. Players in the game can go creative mode or survival mode. However, regardless of game objective, every player uses the available resources to build homes and even cities. The southern-based Ben Gurion University, ranked 4th in the top 5 universities in Israel, can also be found in a pixelated Minecraft version. Originally introduced by the Entrepreneurship 360 Center in Ben Gurion, the primary goal of this virtual campus is to offer crucial insights into the realm of entrepreneurship, investments, and the acquisition of tools for fostering creativity. Players who join the game can not only tour the campus, but interact with various activities. When a student enters the video game, an interactive connection is formed between players and investors or analysts, who represent a grasp of risk capital competencies within the Entrepreneurship Center. This virtual interactive teaching method allows students to learn in-game currency with real-world value. According to Ben-Gurion University, entrepreneurship is not just a profession, but rather a way of thinking. Entrepreneurship can be taught in various ways, and with the ever-developing teaching technologies, video game interactive teaching is expected to resonate with younger students and hopefully offer a fruitful and meaningful learning experience.
Israel Antiquities Authority archaeologists were stumped when they found ancient ducks in Jerusalem, which opened a Pandora box and left a lot of questions unanswered. And ILTV's Devo Klein has the details.
Israeli archaeologists have uncovered a 2,800-year-old duct system near the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. This finding has led archaeologists to believe that the channel system was used as a small part of a much larger production center.
And what we got here behind me is a very interesting installation made out of several channels that used to drain liquids to the north. What was the purpose of this installation? We don't really know. There are no parallels to such an installation, not here in Israel, neither in other places in the world.
The discovery was made by the Israeli Antiquities Authority in partnership with Tel Aviv University and the City of David, leaving multiple possible theories on the table. Archaeologists have said that the ducts were part of an industrial system and were used for soaking materials. However, the debate is still at large, as even the Israeli Police Investigation Unit could not crack the purpose or usage of the old channels. Despite disagreements, it is believed that whatever was made in these ducts served the Judean kingdom's economy, as it was discovered relatively close to where the temple and king's palace had been. And just as consensus was found, a second channel was discovered. The second channel's discovery did, however, help the archaeologists trace the facility back to the late 9th century BCE. So far, a number of experts were brought to the site to see if any residue in the soil can help determine what was flowing through the discovered channels. So far, to no avail.
And now it's time for ILTV's Wine of the Week. And for this week's wine pick, we're focusing on the Tura Winery. Tura Winery is a boutique estate winery established in Rechalim in Judea and Samaria by Vered and Erez Ben Saadon in 2003. The winery's vineyards, which were first planted by Erez and Vered in 1997, grow in the nearby Bracha settlement at a height of 850 meters, which provides an optimal climate to grow choice grapes for wine. The winery began with 1,200 bottles per year and today produces some 120,000 bottles every year. And joining me now in studio with more is founder and owner of Tura Winery, Vered Ben Saadon.
Hello.
Vered, great having you here again with us.
Thank you very much.
Joining. Now, you have a really interesting story, but you and your husband established the winery together. What can you tell us about your journey establishing really this winery together?
It was a lot of struggle, but in the end, after so many years, I can say that if you struggle and you do your best, in the end, you can have a very good success. So,
what more can you tell us about the story? How did it actually start? I mean, how did you get into the business? I mean, you and your husband.
we were very young. We married when I was 18 and a week. Erez was after the army, he was 21. We married and we moved to Mount Gerizim. We want to settle the land. And that was the reason why we planted the first dunams. We waited for 4 years because of religion reasons. And then we began sold the grapes to a big winery in Israel. And after they stopped buying our grapes, we decided to open our own winery. In 2003, we opened a winery in Rechalim with 1,200 bottles only. Today, thank God, now we just began the harvest. We're producing, we plan to produce 250,000 bottles this year.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, did you have any connection to wine before? I mean, anything in the family, or I mean, how did it start?
Not at all. We really want to settle the land, and we began with nothing. And from year to year, we plant more and more. And the first wine got the first medals. So there is a special blessing on that mountain, in that place. We saw from there so many wines, so many awards. We just won a 95 score by Decanter. It's the best, biggest competition in the world. We never got a 95, so it's a big honor. Yeah, we grow and
20 years.
with the time, yeah.
Already.
20 years, it's 20 years.
Now, before we continue speaking more about the winery, I see you brought us wines today. What did you bring us? What's the wine of the week?
So Rosh Hashanah is coming soon. We have the Cabernet Sauvignon from the premium wine, and the Heartland is a blend of Cabernet Merlot and Petit Verdot, entry level. Very good wines, interesting, better to air it an hour before drinking and enjoy with your friends and family.
Good for the Rosh Hashanah table, you're saying.
And Sukkot as well.
And Sukkot, of course. I mean, all the holidays coming.
That's right.
What else? I mean, what other wines do you have in the winery? I mean, what kinds? I mean, do you have white, red? I mean, what's the variety?
So we have 14 different wines: white, red, dry, semi-dry, dessert, rosé, many options. As I said, for every customer, I want one bottle he will like. So he did his best, and that's what it is.
That's a good choice, a good marketing choice, I can say.
That's right.
Now, Vered, last time you were here, it was before Yom HaAtzmaut, before Independence Day, and last Independence Day, you lit an Independence Day torch, which is really impressive. How did it feel to you? How did it feel getting the message, the call? I mean, how was it actually?
Okay, it was really exciting. It was a surprise. From my opinion, it was not only for us as a family, it was more for the people, for the honor of the people that live in Judah and Samaria. I think for Israel is now 75. It's mature. It's time to give these people also the honor. So I'm only trying to do my best. But also the torch was for the agriculture in Israel and of course the wine industry. So it was very exciting. I say it's like the weddings of my children. It was same exciting.
Same exciting. It's a huge event. I mean, of course, I remember watching it. It was really, really exciting to see you there and to see it in general. If you want to come visit your winery, is that possible, or do you only sell? I mean, how does it actually work?
So our winery is located in Rechelim. It's only 5 minutes from Ariel. We host people from all around the world. We open every day from 8 to 5, and of course also Friday. So if the people want, we're more than welcome. They are more than welcome, and we are waiting to see them. And telling our story, give our wines, and let them understand a little bit more about our region. That's very important. Most of the people, they don't know. So it's our opportunity to answer and to tell them.
Always great to learn and to listen. Vera, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Thank you very much.
In a captivating event, a blue supermoon graced the night sky over Israel and much of the world on August 30th. This rare lunar phenomenon, often linked with the phrase once in a blue moon, lives up to its rarity and not to be witnessed again for several years. Despite its name, the blue moon doesn't actually appear blue, rather it exhibits a striking orange. There exist two types of blue moons. The first, known as calendar blue moon, transpires when two full moons emerge within a single month, transpiring every 2 or 3 years. The second type, a seasonal blue moon, signifies a 13th full moon in a year, differing from the usual 12. This week's moon is not like any other. It's a super blue moon occurring near or at the moon's nearest point in its orbit around Earth. Highlighting its rarity, a recent NASA article underscores that the conditions for these blue supermoons materialize on average once a decade and sometimes even up to 2 decades apart. The final supermoon of 2023, the harvest moon, will be seen on September 29th, concluding this year's remarkable lunar spectacles. Now let's take a look at the weather forecast. Partly cloudy skies are expected throughout most of the country tonight, with lows of around 23 degrees Celsius or 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Then tomorrow, temperatures are set to rise and continue throughout the rest of the weekend, reaching highs of around 33 degrees Celsius or 92 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that's all for today's news. For more updates from Israel on all your devices, check out our ILTV channels, subscribe to our ILTV newsletter, and of course, do not forget to check out our new and improved website, ILTV.tv, with all of the latest news from the heart of the State of Israel. I'm Amit Harari. Have an amazing weekend, and thank you so much for watching.